It's just shattered for them. I'm being a parent myself. I can't imagine the pain they're going through.
Yeah.
The words can't describe how we feel, but I'm heartbroken. My heart goes out to them.
Yeah. Tell me this, how long had you known this young man? How long had he been friends with your son?
My son's known him probably a year and a half. He knew his brother first, and then he was introduced to Nick through ROTC.
Right.
And I met him a couple times prior to him moving in. He spent the night at our house, and he was nothing but respectful, a good kid. And when it came down to my son asking if he could move in, we sat down with him. I sat down with him prior to him moving in and let him know there'd be rules and stipulations that when he moved in, if he moved in.
Yeah, and this is your son, JT. JT, good morning.
Morning.
And your son is the kind of young man that if there's a kid that's kind of isolated, kind of hurting and have a difficult time, he's the kind of young man that would reach out to that sort of kid, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, his mother was dying and, in fact, did pass in November. Is that correct?
Yes.
And was this a sudden death or a long illness? Do you know?
I'm not sure. It was unexpected to him.
Okay, it was a
had the flu
surprise
that
to
turned
him.
into
Jim, do you
pneumonia.
know?
Yeah, she died of pneumonia
I see.
that did set on pretty quickly. What we do know is that his father, adopted father, had died about 12 years before, and his mother was really the only figure in his life. She was a very doting mother, and they were very, very close. And when she died, he was really rudderless. He had nobody really to be there for him, and that's where these folks came in. They opened their home. They got him into a different school. They got him a job. They kind of brought him into their home because he had no other place to go.
One thing we do know that's fairly common among people that perpetrate this kind of violence is they often have lost a loved one, sustained a serious loss in their life in the months leading up to the violence, and that's the case here. He had lost his only real anchor in this life. First, he was adopted. Right. That has certain psychological dynamics to it. Then his adopted parents, he lost them. Now, he lived with another woman for a short period of time before he came to your home, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And that didn't work out. Do you know why?
It had to do with the firearms he had, and she had a toddler in the house, and there was a lot of people in the house, and it just wasn't a good fit for him.
Did it concern you that he had guns?
No, sir. I'm not afraid of guns. I respect guns, but one of the stipulations for him moving into my home was he had to get a gun safe.
Okay, and he did?
Yes, sir.
And how many guns did he move into your home?
Approximately 5 or 6.
Okay, and were these rifles or pistols?
All rifles.
All rifles?
Yes, sir.
Did he have the AR-15 when he moved in there?
Yes, sir, he did.
Okay, and this was locked up in a safe?
Yes, sir.
Who had the key?
I had the key.
Okay.
I assumed I had the only key.
Okay, and you didn't know that he had another key until all this happened,
I don't
correct?
think they still know that exactly. They're not sure how he got into the gun safe.
We don't know how he got into it?
We're not 100% sure. We can think maybe he had a key, but we don't know.
Had he ever asked for those guns?
Yes, sir. On 2 occasions, he asked if he could take one out. He wanted to clean it one time. I told him it was fine. He could do it, but in his room.
All right, we're going to take a break. Next, what alleged school shooter Nicholas Cruz told Kimberly and James just hours before opening fire on his former high school, killing 17 plus. Are we focusing too hard on identifying potential perpetrators and not hard enough on protecting their targets? We'll talk about what research tells us about where surveillance should be. We'll be right back.
Coming up, he may have known the alleged school shooter better than anyone. He lived with him and was the one who received the eerie